A traditional golfer will tell you a caddy is to be seen and not heard. But that has since changed. From Jim "Bones" Mackay to Steve Williams, caddies have proven their importance to the game. They might be bagmen who spend more time with their bosses than their wives, but their contributions can make or mar a golfer. Caddies are the unsung heroes for which no championships can be won. We will dive into the secret winning formula the most successful caddies have used to help pro golfers perform at their highest levels. The relationship between a golfer and his caddy is an important one. To the general public, a caddy has very few responsibilities: carry the player's bags and keep the clubs and balls clean. Behind the scenes, before the golfer steps on to take a shot, a lot of things have taken place. Successful caddies are not just ordinary bagmen. They are swing coaches, psychologists, and a friend, all rolled into one. Most golf fans don't go to the game to watch caddies carry bags. They watch the golfers. However, we tend to forget that without a caddy, the golfer cannot perform at his best. Matt Kelly caddies for Mark Leishman, an Australian golfer who has won 6 times on the PGA Tour. He reveals that the caddy and golfer are a team. He says the player doesn't always hit the perfect shot and the caddy doesn't always give the best advice, but if you can reduce those mistakes, that's when it will work well. Steve Williams demonstrates just how important a caddy is to a golfer. Williams is arguably one of golf's superstar caddies. He has caddied for Greg Norman, Tiger Woods, Adam Scott, Jason Day, and many others. At the 2008 U.S. Open, Williams was caddying for Tiger Woods. Woods was on the last hole and had to make a critical decision for his third shot. Woods wanted to hit the ball with a sand wedge, but Williams advised against it. He told Woods the ball would jump and told him to hit a lob wedge instead. Woods listened to his caddy and hit a lob wedge. The result was a success. Woods made a birdie that resulted in a tie with Rocco Mediate. Woods beat Rocco in the playoff the following day and won his 3rd U.S. Open and 14th major championship. In his 36-year career as a caddy, Steve Williams has overseen more than 150 tournament wins. Williams speaks about how he has managed to help golfers play their best. He says, "It's almost like you have to stand in a player's shoes, see what they're seeing, and feel what they're feeling, to be them." For Steve Williams, the secret to being successful at his job is his ability to understand people. According to Steve, it is very easy to teach someone how to do the yardage and read the course, but being a good caddy isn't something that can be taught. Steve highlights how he has managed to become one of the best caddies in the game. "You almost have to teach yourself the psychology side of things. I think I'm a good reader of people. You have to be able to observe people over a long period of time." Williams was passionate while he caddied for Woods. He went as far as aggressively defending the pro golfer from overbearing fans on the course. He once snatched a $7,000 camera from a fan who was taking pictures of Woods during his backswing at a tournament. However, no relationship lasts forever. If the Grim Reaper doesn't separate both parties, something else will. Woods is not the only golfer Williams has helped win an important championship. The duo parted ways in 2011, and Williams went to caddy for Adam Scott. Williams pulled through for Adam Scott at the 2013 Masters. Steve has had experience on the 10th green at Augusta and has watched players putt several times. He convinced Adam Scott to play his ball outside the hole. Scott took Steve's advice and beat Angel Cabrera to win his only Masters so far. Unlike most caddies who just find themselves doing the job, Steve Williams has always wanted to be a caddy. Since he was a teenager, he had always wanted to caddy for Peter Thomson, a 5-time British Open winner from Australia. Williams got his chance and made the best of it. Steve admits that caddying is not an easy job, as it takes 6 to 12 months to properly adapt to a player and learn their quirks. He says, "It just doesn't happen overnight, but if you do it properly, that's when you can help best when the chips are down. And the other trick is that you're always trying to improve." Jim "Bones" Mackay is another superstar caddy like Steve Williams. He is probably the most famous of all caddies. Bones caddied for Phil Mickelson for 25 years. He started caddying for the pro golfer in 1992 at the start of his career. Before that, Bones had caddied for Larry Mize, Scott Simpson, and Curtis Strange. Bones shares a personal relationship with Mickelson. The pro golfer has been quoted saying, "Bones is the only guy on the golf course that wants me to play well. So why am I going to sit there and berate him and treat him poorly? He's the only guy trying to work his tail off for me." Despite not having caddied for Tiger Woods, Bones has received some praise from the legendary player, who said, "There's a certain number of guys out there like Bones who do this job not for the money or for any other reason, but to help their players become the greatest they can be." Bones usually gives Mickelson a target to shoot for at his games, and Mickelson usually replies positively, acknowledging that he will do better than that target. Mickelson and Bones share a special bond, as Bones is the only full-time caddy he has employed since he went pro. However, Mickelson is not the only pro golfer Bones has caddied for. Justin Thomas was able to secure the services of Bones as his full-time caddy sometime in 2021. The two won their first major championship together at the PGA Championship. Justin Thomas speaks about the win, the second time he would lift the famous Wanamaker Trophy. He said, "Bones did an unbelievable job of just keeping me in the moment, and I just tried to play the golf course for what it is." Justin Thomas acknowledged that Bones' influence helped him win the PGA Championship in 2022. He said Bones told him, "It's a hard golf course. It's a major championship. You have to stop being so hard on yourself. You don't have to be perfect. Keep staying positive so good stuff can happen." Bones was on the bag for 5 of Mickelson's major championships. After leaving Mickelson, he became an analyst for Golf Channel, but left that work with Justin Thomas. After the win, Bones was very emotional and mentioned that Justin Thomas was the right player to work with if he ever wanted to caddy again. Behind every great golfer is a great caddy. The legendary Jack Nicklaus also had a great caddy work with him. Angelo Argia carried Nicklaus's bag for 20 years and was the best caddy for the Golden Bear. When Nicklaus asked Argia to caddy for him, Argia lived in Las Vegas and was driving a taxi at the time. Nicklaus confesses that he won 5 or 6 of the first tournaments that Angelo Argia caddied for him. Their first tournament was the Tournament of Champions in Las Vegas, which they won. Argia and Nicklaus won more than 40 tournaments in a relationship that lasted 2 decades. The duo went their separate ways in 1982. Argia never got the chance to caddy for any of Nicklaus's Masters victories because Augusta National didn't allow players to bring their own caddies until the tradition stopped in 1983. The Golden Bear had this to say about his longtime caddy. "Angelo always went out early in the morning and got the pins, and knew enough of the golf course and my golf game that any information I needed, he generally had." The last major Angelo won with Nicklaus was the 1980 U.S. Open. This was at a time when many were sure that Nicklaus's better days were behind him. Angelo didn't give up on his boss. Nicklaus beat Isao Aoki and won 2 more majors after that. Caddies don't usually get the praise they deserve, despite being vital to a golfer's success. Terry Mundy is a caddy who once worked with former women's world #1 Laura Davies. He shares how caddies scrap around to make ends meet and are sometimes left to fend for themselves when the player misses their cut. He says, "It's tough. You go to those flyaway tournaments and you're easily spending $1,000 on a flight, and then there's a hotel. If your player misses the cut, you're out of pocket for that week." Terry Mundy only began caddying after he had to stand in for a sick caddy. After his first experience, he was invited back, and it took a while before he decided to do it full time. Mundy says the trick to being a good caddy is to be many things to your player. He said, "A caddy's a little bit of everything. You could be a coach, a psychologist, you're there to keep the good rounds going and to turn the bad ones around. You're there to offer advice, be a friend, a bit of everything." Next time you come across a caddy on the green, give them the respect they deserve. They are just as important as the players we adore. If you enjoyed this video about pro caddies and their secret winning formula, check out the video on the screen now, or the one we posted below because we're sure you'll like that one too. See you there!